Hello everyone, let's learn the operation of the ultra-high voltage series compensation device together in this class. First, let's have a general understanding of the series reactive power compensation. The so-called series reactive power compensation is to shorten the equivalent electrical distance of transmission by series compensating capacitors on AC transmission lines. In order to improve the transmission capacity and stability of the line, the series reactive power compensation is divided into the following two types. First, transmission line fixed series compensation. Refer that to as fixed series compensation or FSC. Second, transmission line controllable series compensation, referred to as controllable series compensation or TCSC. The series compensation device has four working states: running, bypass, isolation, and grounding. First, the so-called operation state. The bypass switch and platform isolation switch are in the opening position. The two sides of the series compensation device are grounded, and the isolation switch is in the opening position. Second, the bypass state is that the bypass switch is in the closing position. The platform isolation switch is in the closing position. The bypass isolation switch is in the opening position. Both sides of the series compensation device are grounded, and the isolation switch is in the opening position. Third, isolation state, that is, standby state. The bypass switch is in the closing position. The platform isolation switch is in the opening position. The bypass isolation switch is in the closing position. Both sides of the series compensation device are grounded, and the isolation switch is in the opening position. Fourth, the grounding state is the maintenance state. The bypass switch is in the closing position. The platform isolation switch is in the opening position. The bypass isolation switch is in the closing position. The two sides of the series compensation device are grounded, and the isolation switch is in the closing position. So what is the order of operation of the series compensation device? First, in the ultra-high voltage series compensation, the fixed series compensation and the controllable series compensation have four states of operation: bypass, isolation, and grounding respectively. The state of the series compensation is determined by the network dispatching, and the on-site operators have no right to change the status of the series compensation by themselves. Second, the series compensation scheduling operation generally adopts the forms of a comprehensive order, and the operation tasks are issued by the network dispatcher. The on-site operators of the substation operate according to the operation tasks issued and are responsible for their correctness. Third, the format of the comprehensive order of the series compensation dispatching operation is to change the controllable fixed series compensation device of a certain 500 kilovolts line from a certain state to a certain state. Fourth, in the series compensation, the controllable series compensation and the fixed series compensation can be run simultaneously or separately. Fifth, when the controllable series compensation and the fixed series compensation are put into parallel operation in a series compensation, the controllable series compensation should be put into the controllable series compensation first, and then the fixed series compensation should be put into the fixed series compensation. When the controllable series compensation and the fixed series compensation exit the parallel operation, the fixed operation should be exited first. When the line is powered, the line should be sent off first, and then the series compensation should be transferred to the running state. When the line is powered off, the line will be directly powered off when the series compensation is in the running state. Seventh, when the line current of controllable series compensation is small and automatically turns to the bypass state, or the line current is large and the investment conditions are met, the on-site operator should immediately report the network adjustment. Eighth, the serial compensation configuration should have two sets of safe and independent protection. Serial compensation. When transforming to the running state or bypass state, it is necessary to ensure that there is at least one complete set of serial compensation operation, and the serial compensation device is not allowed to run out of protection. Ninth, before the series compensation is put into operation, the on-site operator of the substation should ensure that the protection of the series compensation device is used in accordance with relevant regulations. 10th, before the line trips and the line is strongly powered, make sure that the series compensation is in the bypass state or the exit state. After the line is well powered, the series compensation can be transferred to the running state. 11th, when there is a danger and the safety of the equipment in series and other abnormal events, the protective device does not move, and the on-site operators should handle it in accordance with the relevant provisions of the site and report the network adjustment at the same time. 12th, when the controllable or fixed series compensation device in the series compensation is abnormal and cannot operate normally, if the series compensation device cannot be converted to an isolated or grounded state, the on-site operator should immediately apply for network dispatching to shut down the line. 13th, when a controllable fixed series compensation device is in the running state, it will automatically switch to the bypass state. Before the reason is found out, the controllable fixed series compensation device shall not be converted to the running state. 14th, the system is running normally. The controllable fixed series compensation device and the bypass circuit breaker have non-full phase operation phenomenon, and the non-full phase protection has not been acted. At this time, the bypass circuit breaker of the series compensation device is disconnected and can be closed again. After its success, the controllable fixed series compensation device is converted to an isolated and grounded state. If the bypass circuit breaker is disconnected and the phase closing is unsuccessfully, the line should be powered off immediately. What is the specific operation mode of the series compensation device? We will understand according to the schematic diagram. The operation of the series capacitor compensation device is divided into three ways: control room operation, serial protection room operation, and local operation. The input and exit of the series compensation device must be carried out in accordance with certain procedures. The control and protection devices have certain locking logic in the electrical circuit when the two sides of the series compensation device are locked and the bypass knife gate is connected. The two sides of the series compensation knife gate cannot be opened. In addition, when the bypass circuit breaker is closed, the bypass knife gate can be operated. Taking the figure as an example, the order of delivery and withdrawal is as follows. The input of the series compensation device before putting in. The knife gates and the ground knives on both sides of the series compensation should be in the disconnected position, and the line should be in the running state. That is, the line knife gate is in the closing position. The specific operation steps are as follows. Input of series compensation device. First, close the bypass BC B1 circuit breaker. Second, close the series compensation device DS1, DS2 knife gate, respectively. Third, pull open the bypass MBS1. Pull open the bypass circuit breaker BCB1 and put the series compensation into operation at this time. Exit order of serial compensation devices. First, close the bypass switch BCB1. Second, close the MBS1. Third, open the DS1 and DS2 knife gates respectively. Fourth, after three-phase power inspection on the serial compensation side of DS1 and DS2 knife gates, and there's no voltage, close the ES11 and ES21 knife gates for testing, and the serial compensation device is in the maintenance state. Fifth, pull open the bypass circuit breaker BC and B1. At this time, the series compensation device is out of operation and in a standby state. Finally, please review what two types of series compensation can be divided into. That's all for this lesson. Thank you.